here to everyone as we're discussing here about last night, Wednesday night Sixers victory against the Cleveland Cavaliers at the center. This was a 118 to 112 victory here for the Sixers in the final game before the All-Star break. Now you look at the scoreline and it's a win, but if you watch the game, the disappointment was that there was yet again another blown lead, a 20-point lead heading into the fourth quarter on the night where Joel Embiid had a milestone, getting 10,000 career points with the Sixers, the quickest Sixer to do it. And it's hard to celebrate this victory because of yet again another blown lead. But as I always do, I like to bring the optimism. I like to show you guys the grass is greener on other pastures here. But for this one, look, the bright side is you got the victory. Okay, you had a lot of good stuff showing. The first half, the first half is how the Sixers need to play on a night to night basis, on a must win type of situation, playoff type of situation. You had perfect shooting. They shot the lights. I feel like everyone in the starting lineup got a freaking three. The defense was immaculate. It was suffocating, and of course, it doesn't help when the Cavs kind of start off cold. Excuse me, but when you put that recipe together, the Sixers would put together a 28-point lead. And for the Cavaliers, it just wasn't their night. However, like we mentioned, the lead was blown. And this was a 1.84 point game. A game that was a 28-point game to dwindle down to 4 points. It is just extremely frustrating. It is tough for me to sit here and defend Doc when that type of stuff happens. These blown leads are a bit of a problem. And we talk about it all the time through these game recaps. And the main reason why it is a problem is because there's a track record within this team, and more importantly, our head coach, with blowing leads. And the crazy part is that these blown lead problems is things I see from a young team, like an up and coming team, like a Sixers team back in 2017, right? Maybe a team like the Cavs here in 2023. But a team with veteran players like Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tobias Harris, um, PJ Tucker, that should not be happening. The amount of blown leads that happen on a night to night basis absolutely should not be happening. But that's going to be the main thing again. Now, it's going to be our main focus because that's kind of how we have lost playoff series. Last year's playoff series against Miami was tough because you were just shorthanded, and Miami just did all the dirty work that really got was the difference in that series. But you even look at the series prior or the year prior when he lost in seven to the Atlanta Hawks, well, there was like two or three blown lead games. Of course, the game five is the most infamous one when you blew a 25-point lead. Lou Will absolutely goes off. Game seven, you blew yet again another lead. And so obviously the team is a little bit different, but the track record is there. This team continues to blow leads. Now, obviously, this is a game right before All-Star break, so one has to ask, was maybe All-Star break on the mind of a lot of players that they kind of just allowed it to slip through? That shouldn't be the case because that's the Cleveland Cavaliers team that you don't want to kind of take it easy, take it lax. But kudos to the Sixers for finding a way to clamp down. And another thing is that this is the Cavs, right? This is a really good team, and this is a team that you're gonna not kind of you're gonna kind of struggle putting away. And so, and we haven't talked about the Sixers in the past couple games. Obviously, Monday we were still recovering from Sunday's Super Bowl loss, so really didn't need to see the Sixers beating down on the Houston Rockets. And then you also had the Brooklyn Nets game, which, by the way, we were at. Great time, by the way. We have a vlog being edited in the moment right now, so you guys will get my full thoughts on that game. But that was another game where you struggled against a young Nets team, and that team that shot the lights out, played solid defense. They kept you around in that basketball game. Watching that live, it was just ridiculous how the Nets just went absolutely cold, and the Sixers were able to kind of hang around. It's like I still couldn't believe like it was like 5 minutes left and it was like a 5 point game. Like I just was like, how is this possible? We've been playing bad basketball, but one thing that is important to note is that this is the NBA. Resiliency is very important, and the Sixers team does have some resiliency. I know it is the regular season, and I do think that Sixers fans do take regular season a little bit two series too sometimes. It's not games, losing to the likes of the Cleveland Cavaliers is not losing game seven of an NBA playoff series, but it kind of is what it is. But I want to start off talking about Joel Embiid here tonight because, listen, he had a milestone here tonight 10,000 points, the quickest Sixers to do it. He is just honestly remarkable. Night in, night out, he gets double teams, finds a way to either score. But he made a couple shots here tonight off double teams. And on a night like tonight, he really did the dirty work. Had 14 boards here. That was big. 29 points to finish it off. And he just makes it difficult. Jared Allen's one guy that typically matches up well against Joel Embiid, but Joel was too much for Jared Allen here on a night like tonight. James Harden dropping 19. He had 12 assists here as well. His 3-point shot was looking clean in that first half as he knocked down three. He went 3 for 7 from the 3-point line. But listen, the pick and roll game has really, really developed with those two guys. I mean, there was one pick and roll where, dude, the Cavs are just clogging up the lanes as best as they could, and James Harden with a bounce back that was so precise, and it led Joel Embiid. He put this pass where only Joel Embiid could kind of get it, and Joel went and yammed it. So that chemistry continues to develop before our eyes, and as long as, listen, James is making his shots, right? And still creating for others. That pick and roll is going to be so dangerous. And it's so hard to stop Joel Embiid, especially when you got a creator like that with James. It's so funny how much we talked about this when before James Harden, what it would look like with a playmaker and a shot creator like James Harden. It has been a lot of fun to watch. D'Anthony Mellon stepped up here tonight with his 17 points. He was on tonight. We always talk about it. When he is not on, it's a little bit tough for him to kind of fit in. When he's cold, he's really cold, and it gets really tough for him to get involved into the basketball game. But he was definitely big here tonight. Defensively, he was pretty solid as well. He got himself forward, and I thought he had a couple assists here. I thought maybe the wrong night there, but I thought he did a solid job of defense here. Tobias Harris tonight with 13 points. He had the tough job of defending Donovan Mitchell for most of the game. Second half, Donovan Mitchell just kind of went off on the Sixers, and he really was the one guy that started it off for the Cavs, kind of making that comeback. But definitely a better night could have been had for Tobias Harris, but defensively was solid. We saw. Let me round out the starting lineup here. PJ Tucker had 10 points. That's got to be a season high for PJ. 4 or 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. And so that was definitely big. I don't think he did much else. I think he was more active in the paint, but I don't think he did much else different here. It just was his night. It was everyone's night essentially. Tyrese came off the bench with his 16 points, providing that spark. It's really big, and I still want to keep him at that role. I know a lot of people, that's been a debate for a lot of people, but I still want to keep Tyrese Maxey coming off the bench. I think it's very dangerous having a guy at full speed while you're already tired, or putting in bench players that can't contain Tyrese Maxey. I think it is really special. And look, I don't know. I think he may have gained some type of chemistry with Jalen McDaniels early on. Jalen McDaniels looked a little bit more comfortable with the Sixers here on Wednesday night. His size and his speed really are just pop out of the screen for you, and I think that that's going to be something that is obviously something that we really missed. But there's a reason why I was excited for a player like McDaniel, because that's exactly what we needed. Just someone who is just more willing on offense, has size, has speed. You saw an alley oop opportunity from Tyrese Maxey in this game, and I think that the more comfortable he gets, and look, you this is the best team he's ever played against. Good players, that energy, that definitely radiates to other players. So I'm so curious how playing around the likes of Joel Embiid and James Harden and Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey, how that elevates the level of Jalen McDaniels, because everyone, honestly, their level has kind of elevated here in Philadelphia, just given the opportunity. D'Anthony Melton's like another one of those players. George Niang is another one of those players who have stepped up when the opportunity has presented itself. George Niang, cold night, but it's okay. We didn't really need to have too much. Shake Milton gave us 3 points, and that was really it. Oh, Paul Reed. I wanted to talk about Paul Reed. Um, Obviously, Dwayne Dedman's move happened on Monday, which, by the way, I realize Dwayne Dedman is not moving the needle for a lot of people, and I wouldn't expect it to, but I also found it surprising that Sixers, I don't know what Sixers fans were expecting at a buyout market. The thing is, when I look at Dwayne Dedman, he's a 7 foot center, first off. I don't think he's washed up like DeAndre Jordan. I think Dwayne Dedman will be the best center we've had since Andre Drummond. And that's not saying a lot, but I think Sixers fans forget that that's literally what you need. You need someone that is better than Montrezl Harrell, better than DeAndre Jordan, and better than Paul Reed. And I think Dwayne Dedman can be that. Now, to that point, Paul Reed had a strong game on Wednesday night. He defensively, I saw him doing a great job of rim protecting. He was very active. He did drop 5 points here tonight, but that's really what you're asking for. You're asking for a rim protector. You're asking for when Joel Embiid needs to take a break, you have a center in there that brings some type of defense, something to scare off the opponents because easy buckets have been happening way too much in the paint. And so that's why you go out and get a Dwayne Dedman. And Paul Reed did a solid job here tonight. Obviously the Cavs just could not get good offensive possession going, especially in the early parts of this game. And even in the fourth quarter, when they really went on their run, that was really off of Donovan Mitchell and his scoring, and free throws were big for the Cavaliers, and just effort. The Cavs look a step faster than us in that fourth quarter, and that was a big part of why we allowed them to come all the way back. Obviously, Dwayne Dedman did not get any minutes here. He was available. Well, he was dressed. I don't think Doc wanted to bring him in just yet. You always see this, obviously with Jalen McDaniels in his first game, he sat out as well. He did not get into the game. And then the same thing here, Dwayne Dedman, first opportunity to dress, did not get into the game. We're going into All-Star break, so maybe Doc wants to work him out and see exactly how he can integrate him into the Sixers, but you weren't able to see him here on the night. Sixers fans were not able to boo him or tell him or let him know how they really feel about Mr. Dwayne Dedman because he was not able to get into the basketball game here tonight. I want to look at a couple of stats that we always need to look at here because of just how these Sixers are built. So tonight, 10 offensive rebounds for the Cavs, 8 for the Sixers. Not entirely too terrible. The Cavs definitely had a lot of second-hand opportunities in that fourth quarter, and that's what we talk about. Just eliminating that. 8 turnovers for the Cavaliers, 11 here for the Sixers. Got to get turned around there. And let me look at the fast break points. These are all stats that are very important. Every night I look at these stats because that'll tell you if the Sixers won or lost. You don't even need to look at the final score. That's how you'll learn if the Sixers will win or lose. But obviously this game's a little bit different. Cavs 12-12, fast break points, Sixers with 6. Points in the paint, 54 for the Cavs, 46 for the Sixers. Still not exactly what you would want, but definitely getting better here for the Sixers. Sixers shot well from the three-point line, 48%, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Sixers started off hot from a three-point line in that first quarter. So that's really what it had to come down to. Even steals. So overall, it was pretty evenly matched thanks to that Cavs strong fourth quarter because it's a game where the Sixers were just completely dominating. But that's just who the Cavs are. And look, again, this win is important because obviously you go into All-Star break with the win, and that's really what you want to do. But the Cavs are right behind your tail in the Eastern Conference, right? They're fifth, you're fourth. So you want to make sure you keep ground, or you keep ground away from them. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, when I look at the Cavs, I don't think yet that they're a team that will compete with the likes of us, Boston, Milwaukee. I think Miami will figure it out as well. Obviously, Brooklyn is out of that picture now due to their crazy couple of weeks. But I think that Cleveland is definitely that next team after those 4 that I just mentioned. Heck, I think the Cavs can even give the Miami Heat a run for their money. when you have star players, especially that backcourt, Garland. So you had Donovan Mitchell drop 33, Darius Garland drop 27. When you have a backcourt that lethal that could do a little bit of everything, and then you get a front court of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, who, that's the prototypical front court that you do want. It makes things very interesting, and they're going to be an interesting matchup come playoff time. We all know Cleveland can get wound up for a playoff run as well. Not a lot of playoff runs go down in Cleveland. Columbus maybe a little bit more, but not so much in Cleveland. But definitely something that they would be looking at. A little bit of a news that came out, a story that came out from ESPN 10 hours ago, so late last night. Joel Embiid, health concern. He states that Joel could miss the All-Star game. So after Wednesday night, Joel Embiid let the media know that he doesn't know if he'll be able to play in Sunday's All-Star game. He says, "I'm not sure. I'm not healthy. I haven't been healthy for the past 3 weeks or month. I was just trying to get to the All-Star break without missing games and stuff, but I feel like I've reached a point where I need to follow the doctor's advice. Back then, he said I should have been sitting for 2 weeks, so we'll see how the next few days go from here." All right, so that's very telling, and obviously Joel Embiid opening up to us about his health. Completely agree with Joel. 110% completely agree with Joel. Could care less about the All-Star break. I don't need Joel playing in there and, trying to push himself through an All-Star break. We all know, and I think that national people in the NBA know how good, how special Joel Embiid is. We don't need to see that in an All-Star game. All right. So what we do need to see, though, however, is Joel Embiid playing in the NBA Finals. Longevity is important. We're playing the long game here. So I think I speak for most Philadelphia when I say I would be more than happy to see Joel Embiid sit out this All-Star break and allow his body to heal some more. You got about a week off, so that's plenty of time to heal your body up for a little bit at least. Now, obviously, in that quote, he said that he should have taken off more than a couple days. He should have took off a couple 2 weeks at least. So that's definitely telling as well. So you guys let me know how you feel, but I'm assuming that most Philadelphia feels the same way, and the fact that Joel Embiid should be sitting out in this All-Star game. One more note, Danny Green appeared in his first game in 2023, which is pretty remarkable if you think about it. He obviously, it's been a crazy year. He gets traded to Memphis from here for DeAnthony Melton and some picks. And then, he kind of recovers in Memphis. And then come deadline time, he was healthy enough. So Memphis didn't see a future for him. So they traded him to Houston, and Houston then bought him out. He then signs on with Cleveland. And if you didn't know, Cleveland gave Danny his first opportunity in the league. So now he's with the Cavs, coming off of as a bench piece. It's truly remarkable. I did not think that he would even play this year following that ACL tear in the Miami Heat last year. Miami Heat series last year, I should say. I'm sorry. But it was cool to see Danny. Danny got not the biggest, loudest standing O. I know Sixers fans still feel some type of way about Danny Green. He's a snake. He's a rat. He was a waste. I don't know. But I love Danny Green, and I'll always appreciate for what he did. And I definitely think he deserved a little bit of a standing O. So congratulations, Danny Green, and welcome back. Welcome back, my man. That's about it as far as Matt McClung got signed on to a two-way deal. I wonder if that's for the All-Star break, but he is now going to the slam dunk contest as a member representing the Philadelphia 76ers. So that should be pretty cool to see as well. But so look, All-Star break. So it's time now to relax for a little bit. Obviously, for myself, after that Eagles Super Bowl, I definitely do need it. We'll still be doing Flyers content. Obviously, tonight we have Flyers game recap, so we'll be in tune with that. But, after the season we have with the Eagles, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of offseason to talk about within the next month until free agency and NFL draft starts happening. Of course, with the Phillies and Union, their season's about to kick off as well. Union kick off at the end, actually in less than 10 days. We got, in 12 days, we have the Union season starting. And then the Phillies, obviously, pitchers, catchers, end of this month. March, we have spring training, and April, season should be starting. So things are moving very quickly here in Philadelphia. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for more Philly sports content. We always got you guys. Make sure you guys follow on TikTok as well. We do a lot more Philly sports content on there as well. So we keep you posted all the times. Guys, it's going to do it for today's Sixers game recap. Sixers again beat the Cavs 118 to 112. I'm sorry. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the All-Star break. So enjoy your time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, I go by the name of Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys, let's go Philly sports.